Greetings, I'm Francesca Arnoldi, author of Cultivating the Doula Heart, Essentials of Compassionate Care, and the program director of the End-of-Life Doula Training Program at the University of Vermont. And this video is going to be focused on the concept of hope. What is hope? What does it mean? What does it represent? How might it serve? And how might it not serve? And the reason for this video is it was inspired by the current offering, the current doula course. And in it we had a discussion about a video. It's a TED Talk video done by Dr. Leslie Blackhall. She's a palliative care doc. And in it she discusses this idea of hope. And she talks about working with some of her patients at end of life and how some of them are open to perhaps reconciling with this incredibly difficult news of learning they have a terminal diagnosis, and that often, even though they have a logical understanding of what they're facing, it always feels like an idea that's not happening in the present moment, that it's happening later, that death and dying will come later. And so what she asks is, well, what is dying? What does dying mean? What does dying look like? When does dying start? And in the course we talk a lot about we live right up until the moment we die. And also we have to balance, is there benefit to supporting people as they move closer to their dying and they consider fostering a sense of peacefulness and acceptance about their dying? And so where does hope land? What is attached to it? What are we attaching hope to? For some people, it could be hope for a cure and hope for a miracle. For others, it could be hope of healing. And that's another multi-layered concept. What is healing? What does healing look like to you? What does it mean to you? And as a disease process begins to shift and change, perhaps hope could shift and change along with this fluid journey. And perhaps hope might represent something new and different. Maybe it could mean hope for a pain-free dying, a comfortable dying, a dying where someone has made their wishes known and their network and surrounding loved ones and care team members are helping to ensure that their needs are met. Maybe it's being in a certain setting. Maybe it's being around certain people, having certain conversations, finishing a certain legacy project. Maybe that's what hope becomes. And our learners in the course brought up some wonderful insights and perspectives, and I'll share them just in a generalized way to protect and honor their privacy. And one asked about hope and how maybe it looks different if we're thinking about a person who has lived a very long, full life, and that person is facing their imminent death, versus a child who has a terminal condition and time is short. Do we maybe hang on to hope differently in those two circumstances? Another person talked about hope beyond this life, and for some people, they have spiritual and or religious beliefs about what comes next, what comes after our time in this body, in this lifetime. And so perhaps their hope is rooted in that belief. And another learner talked about how she found her liberation, her freedom, by letting go of hope, much to her family's disapproval, who it sounds like perhaps were wishing that she could fight the good fight and battle. And for her, she was finding more healing and peace in sitting with what is versus the imagined pathways, the imagined future, which is what hope represents to her. Something that's outside of actual reality, not something happening in the present moment. And it's always a beautiful discussion and interesting to look at it from a number of different angles. And as we know as doulas, there is no right or wrong way to live or die. And we support our clients as who they are and as where they are. So for more discussions on doula essentials and stories from the field, make sure to subscribe and check back.